Good morning, family and friends. Crying out to the Lord for deliverance. Psalms 30 and 2. The Bible is filled with examples of times when God has answered the cries of his people. We're going to share just a few examples of occasions in which individuals cried out to God and God heard their cries and delivered them. I believe this is important because all too often we believe that God has deaf ears when it comes to our cries. And my belief is that if he did it for somebody else, he can surely do it for you and I. The Bible declares that Elijah cried out to the Lord, and the Lord revived a dead child. He cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourn by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto the Lord, and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. 1 Kings 17:20 and 22. Jehoshaphat cried out, and the Lord delivered him from death. It came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and the Lord helped him, and God moved them to depart from him. 2 Chronicles 18 and 31. Hezekiah cried out, and God gave him victory. Hezekiah, the king and prophet, Isaiah the son of Amoz, prayed and cried to heaven. And the Lord sent an angel, which cut off all the mighty men of valor, and the leaders and the captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land. 2 Chronicles 32:20 through 21. Jesus' disciples cried out on the sea in the midst of the storm, and Jesus calmed the storm. And they said, as they sailed, he fell asleep. And there came upon them a storm of wind on the lake, and they were filled with water and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the waters, and they ceased, and there was calm. Luke 8:23 and 24. Blind Bartimaeus called to Jesus, and he restored his sight. And they came to Jericho. And as he was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a great crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind beggar, the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Many rebuked him, telling him to be silent, but he cried out all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stopped and said, Call him. And they called the blind man, saying to him, Take heart, get up. He is calling you. And throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. And Jesus said to him, What do you want for me to do for you? And the blind man said, Rabbi, let me recover my sight. And Jesus said, Go your way. Your faith has made you well. And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him on the way. God hears our cries. God answers our cries. God delivers us because of our cries. If he can do it for Bartimaeus, if he can calm the sea, if he can do it for Hezekiah more than one time, if he can do it for Jehoshaphat, I believe without a doubt that God can do it for you and I. We just have to cry out to him with a sincere and a humble heart. Cry out for our deliverance. May God bless and keep you is our prayer. And always, should you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me.